Forbes has released its list of the top 10 highest paid female athletes for 2021. This year's top earners earned a total of AUD $231.6 million, a massive 23% higher than their 2020 calculations. From Naomi Osaka to PV Sindhu, this year's list was a little surprising to say the least. To find out who nabbed the top spots and how much each athlete earns, keep watching. At number 10, we have Candace Parker, earning $5.7 million. Fresh off a women's NBA championship run, Forbes reports that she earns $5.7 million per year, primarily through endorsements. According to the publication, because the basketball league caps players' salaries at around $199,199, Parker earns the majority of her money by partnering with brands such as Adidas, Band-Aid, and Capital One. Next up at number 9, Nellie Corda, earnings $5.9 million. Nellie Corda, a professional golfer, won her first major title at the Women's PGA Championship in June, Olympic gold in August, and finished 2021 as the highest-ranking female golfer, earning $5.9 million. Corda, who's only 23 years old, was named to Forbes' 2022 30 Under 30 list in the sports category, and she also has more than 10 sponsors, including Hanwha Q Cells, which manufactures solar cells, and UKG, a tech company focused on workforce management. Next on the list is Ashe Barty, earnings $6.9 million. Ashe Barty, an Australian tennis player and national icon, comes in 8th place on the list. According to Forbes, the 25-year-old earns $6.9 million per year as the Women's Tennis Association's world number 1 in singles. While that is a sizable sum, the gender pay gap was highlighted after her victory at the Western and Southern Open in August, where she earned $254,452, while men's champion Alexander Zverev took home $652,876. In terms of the upcoming Australian Open in 2022, which will take place from January 10 to January 19, Barty's expected to win the Grand Slam after victories at Wimbledon and Roland Garros last year. She could become the first Australian woman to win a home slam since Chris O'Neill 1978 if she accomplishes this great feat. Now we have PV Sindhu, earnings $7.2 million. PV Sindhu may be relatively unknown in the sports industry in Australia. In India, however, the 26-year-old badminton champion is a superstar. Sindhu earns $7.2 million per year according to Forbes, after being named in the list in 2018. Sindhu won a silver medal at the 2016 Rio de Janeiro Olympics, and she took bronze at last year's Tokyo Olympics. She's also the first Indian woman to win 2 Olympic medals, and she has 4 sponsors, including tech giant Byju's, used car platform Spinny, Li-Ning Sportswear, and India's Bank of Baroda. Next up, Jin Young Choi, earnings $7.5 million. Despite losing the top spot in the women's golf rankings to Nellie Corda, the 26-year-old South Korean pro golfer earned a tidy sum with her victory in the CME Group Tour Championship in November 2021, which netted her $1.4 million. In addition to her generous prize money, Ko is sponsored by South Korean companies such as LG Electronics, Korean Air, Jeju Samdasu Mineral Water, and Rejoran Skincare goods. These various forms of income result in the golfer earning $7.5 million. Sitting at number 5, Garbine Muguruza, earnings $8.8 million. Garbine Muguruza won 3 tournaments in 2021 and climbed to 3rd in the women's tennis rankings after finishing runner-up at the 2022 Australian Open. As a result, the 28-year-old Spanish star's sponsor bonuses increased significantly from Jaguar and Nivea to Adidas and Babolat, bringing her annual income to $8.8 million. Muguruza has been vocal about what will happen at the Australian Open in 2022, but not so much about her chances of winning the title. In fact, her focus has been on Peng Shuai, Chinese player who went missing after accusing Vice Premier Zhang Guoli of sexual assault. Many people, including Muguruza, were concerned about her safety ahead of the tournament. She wondered whether any action would be taken against Zhang Guoli and called it a complicated country. Muguruza stated this to reporters while discussing the Australian Open, where Peng won't be present. Muguruza reflected on the entire ordeal and felt like things were becoming stagnant for her. At number 4, we have Simone Biles, earnings $10.1 million. Simone Biles, the reigning Olympic gymnastics champion from the United States, has withdrawn from 5 events in Tokyo in order to focus on her mental health. We greatly admire her emphasis on mental well-being and are pleased to report that it had no effect on her earnings last year, with the 24-year-old rising to become the 4th highest paid female athlete in 2021. She earned $10.1 million last year as a result of a series of brand deals, including a collaboration with Autograph to release NFTs in August, and she joined mental health startup Cerebral in October as Chief Impact Officer. If all this wasn't enough, she also became the face of the Gold Over America Tour, cross-country post-Olympics gymnastics tour whose initials spell GOAT, a phrase the world has loved to refer to her as the sport's greatest of all time. In the top 3, we have Venus Williams, earnings $11.3 million. Despite competing in 9 tournaments and winning only 3 matches in 2021, Venus Williams' earnings haven't suffered significantly. She did, after all, finish 3rd and earn $11.3 million in the process. Increasing her celebrity influence, the 41-year-old makes appearances and gives keynote speeches while also running her own clothing line, Eleven. She, like her sister Serena, was an executive producer on King Richard, the upcoming biopic about their lives. In terms of the Australian Open, tennis fans will have to deal with the absence of Venus, who has announced her intention to skip the championship this year. At number 3, Serena Williams, earnings $45.9 million. Serena Williams, one of the greatest and most well-known tennis players of all time, comes in 2nd place with an annual salary of $45.9 million. The 40-year-old sports star may have fallen to 41st in the women's rankings, but she's still a big draw for advertisers, having worked with companies like Nike, Gatorade, and DirecTV. She, like Venus Williams, was an executive producer on the 2021 film King Richard, which chronicles their father's involvement in their careers. She's also invested in over 60 startups through her firm, Serena Ventures. In an unusual turn of events, Serena Williams has confirmed that she, like her sister Venus, will not compete in this year's Australian Open. This will be the first time that the sisters won't appear at the Melbourne tournament since 1997, as Williams claims to not be where she needs to be physically to compete, as per Forbes. And sitting at number 1, Naomi Osaka, earnings $57.3 million. Not shocking at all, Japanese-American tennis player Naomi Osaka earns $57.3 million per year from an endorsement portfolio that includes over 10 brand partners, including Louis Vuitton, Sweetgreen and Tag Heuer. The 24-year-old has recently acquired equity stakes in Status Pro, virtual reality startup, as well as Daring Foods, plant-based chicken manufacturer, and has launched a skincare line called Kindle. Tennis fans can expect to see Naomi serve while she's in Australia for the Australian Open. She'll be attempting to win her 2nd Grand Slam title, possibly another blessing from a butterfly. A breakdown of the rankings. Although there have been increases in female athlete earnings in previous years, Osaka and Williams' account for the majority of the increase in 2021. Furthermore, none of the other athletes make the list of the world's highest paid athletes of either gender, with Osaka finishing 12th and Serena Williams 28th. So tennis remains the highest earning sport, which seems to have coincided with the start of the 2022 Australian Open, sans Novak Djokovic, of course. Venus Williams, the 3rd highest paid woman on the list, missed the overall top 50 athlete cutoff by more than $20 million. Not just this, as the bar for making the top 10 of the women's list is actually lower than it was a decade ago, with the athlete in 10th place earning $5.7 million in 2021, down from $6.1 million in 2012. However, there are far more positive than negatives on this list. To begin, leagues are adding new owners to the National Women's Soccer League, and more franchises are being established as TV ratings for a variety of female sports rise. Another plus is that the list includes athletes from a variety of sports. Tennis players occupied all 10 positions on the list in 2019, but only 5 tennis players are projected for 2021. This is the sport's lowest tally in more than a decade, demonstrating that there is now more than one sport where female athletes can earn a good living. For the first time in years, a gymnast and a basketball player are among the top 10 names, with 5 sports represented among the 10. You could also include football stars Alex Morgan and Megan Rapinoe, who finished just outside the top 10. This is significant because both play a team sport in which wages lag behind prize money available in individual events such as golf and tennis. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think about the Forbes list, and which sportswomen would you like to see next time? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.